The people who hurt you don't need to understand your worth. You do. The people who left don't need to say goodbye. You can say it to yourself. The people who ghosted you don't need a second chance. Your silence is their answer. So stop writing unsent letters. Stop rehearsing the perfect message. Stop chasing closure from people who were never open in the first place. Look around you. We live in a world that feels like one long performance, a constant proving ground. Everyone's trying to prove they're right, prove they matter, explain themselves. Over and over again, people chase to be seen, to be heard, to be understood. It's a desperate cry for validation, for someone else to say, "You're enough." But the Stoic? The true Stoic walks a different path. A Stoic doesn't beg for attention. A Stoic doesn't chase validation. And most powerfully, a Stoic doesn't feel the need to explain themselves to the world, because the Stoic knows a truth most have forgotten, that silence is strength. Silence is a superpower. Now think about human nature. What do most people do when they're hurt, rejected, or deeply misunderstood? Their instincts take over. They rush, they chase, trying desperately to fix what feels broken by explaining themselves, often to people who've already decided not to understand. That, my friends, isn't courage. That's weakness, cleverly disguised as effort. Picture it. You call someone, and they don't pick up. So you text again, then again. You pour your heart into a long message, hoping, maybe even praying, they'll finally see your worth, feel your pain, understand you. But here's the harsh, freeing truth. The more you explain, the more you beg, the more power you quietly give away. And that, above all, is deeply un-Stoic. The great Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, they didn't just use silence, they mastered it. Not because they were cold or unfeeling, but because they understood something vital. Epictetus said it perfectly. The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. When you chase someone's attention, when you beg for their understanding, you're handing over your peace. You're saying, "My happiness depends on your response." That isn't peace. That's a prison you built yourself. Real strength, real dignity looks completely different. It's when someone disrespects you, and instead of arguing, you simply walk away, not out of spite, not out of arrogance, but because your dignity doesn't need to scream, it doesn't chase, it doesn't explain. It quietly, powerfully steps back. That silence isn't emptiness. It's discipline. It's deep self-respect. It's the kind of inner strength that says, "I don't need to be heard by you to hear myself." And here's the paradox. That kind of silence often terrifies people, because when you don't react, when you refuse to play the emotional game, they lose the control they thought they had over you. So today, we're going to explore that power, the kind of silence that builds you, not weakens you. The kind of silence that makes people wonder what changed in you. The kind of silence that lets your absence speak louder than any message you could ever send. We'll uncover 6 deep truths, 6 undeniable reasons why silence is a Stoic superpower, and why those who master it never chase, never beg, never explain themselves. If you're tired of overgiving, if you've been misunderstood, if you've ever found yourself chasing someone who walked away, this is your moment to shift. Let this be the reminder you didn't even know you needed. Before we dive into point 1, do one small but powerful thing. Like this video if this message already speaks to your soul. Comment your thoughts. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe for more timeless Stoic wisdom every week. Now, take a breath, and let's begin. Number 1, silence makes them feel your absence more than your words. Sometimes the quietest goodbye is the loudest truth. Have you ever noticed something strange, almost the opposite of what you'd expect? When you finally stop explaining yourself, when you stop chasing, stop trying to make someone understand, something powerful happens. People suddenly begin to think. They start to reflect. That's the strange and beautiful paradox of silence. It doesn't push, it pulls. It doesn't shout to be heard. It echoes, it lingers, it stays in their mind long after you've gone quiet. Think back to the last time you were truly hurt. Maybe someone ghosted you, disrespected you, or gave you that cold, distant silence that cut deep. Your first instinct probably screamed, "Say something, defend yourself, make them understand what they've done." But here's the truth. The more you talk, the less they actually listen. The more you chase, the further they run, and the more you explain, the less your words mean to them. But when you choose silence, deep, intentional silence, everything changes. Suddenly, your absence is louder than your presence ever was. Elbert Hubbard said it best. He who does not understand your silence will probably not understand your words. The Stoics understood this thousands of years ago. They knew silence makes people uncomfortable in ways that noise, arguments, or explanations never could. When you go silent on someone who expected you to beg, when you walk away instead of reacting, you force them to face something far more powerful than your words, their own actions. Because silence, real silence, is like a mirror. It quietly says, "I saw what you did. I felt how you treated me, but I value my peace too much, my self-respect too deeply to explain it to you." And this kind of silence doesn't come from ego or pride. It comes from total clarity. You begin to realize something life-changing. If they truly cared, they would reach out. If they truly respected you, they would ask what went wrong. If they were emotionally mature, you wouldn't have to write a long, painful message to remind them of your worth. So instead, you stay silent. And that silence says everything for you. And in that silence, something powerful happens. You take back every bit of power you once gave away. You stop wasting your time and your energy trying to be understood by people who don't even understand themselves. You stop trying to heal what can't be healed through words, because you realize that some wounds, the deepest ones, only heal in the stillness of silence. And yes, that silence will feel uncomfortable at first. It might even feel wrong. It will trigger them. It will confuse them. They'll start asking themselves questions they never expected. Why aren't they reacting? Why didn't they respond? Have they stopped caring? And that, my friends, is the moment everything shifts, because silence reveals one undeniable truth they can't ignore. You don't owe them an explanation, not anymore. Number 2. In silence, truth speaks louder than explanation. The world is overwhelmingly noisy. Opinions, demands, distractions, everywhere. But silence? Silence lets you listen. Not to others, but to the most important voice of all, your own. When heartbreak hits, betrayal stings, or confusion clouds your mind, most people run to others. They call friends for advice, scroll endlessly on social media to distract themselves, or confront the person who hurt them, hoping a conversation will somehow fix what went wrong. The Stoic does something different, radically different. He goes silent. Not because he doesn't feel pain, Stoics felt deeply, but because he knows real answers don't come from noise. They come from reflection, quiet thought, and looking within. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. When you truly go silent, when the world's noise fades, your mind calms. And when your mind calms, the truth rises, sometimes uncomfortable, but always freeing. You begin to see clearly, they never really respected me. I just didn't want to accept it. I'm not angry because they left. I'm angry because I stayed too long. I don't need closure from them. I need peace within myself." These truths don't come from texts or arguments. They come in quiet hours, when you stop explaining and start listening to yourself. Silence gives you space to separate raw, chaotic emotions from your guiding values. When hurt, emotions scream, "Chase them," Explain yourself, prove your worth, but silence lets your values whisper, hold your dignity, protect your peace, let them go. This is why Stoics didn't react quickly or impulsively. They didn't make life-altering decisions in anger or despair. They practiced sacred stillness, a pause before the storm, letting wisdom surface. Modern society teaches the opposite. Speak your mind. Tell them how you feel. Don't let anyone disrespect you. Here's what most people miss. Respect doesn't come from reacting louder or fighting harder. It comes from staying calm and grounded while everyone else gets lost in noise. The more silent you become, the more others show their true selves. You won't need to ask, do they care? Their actions or lack of them will show you. You won't need to beg for clarity. The truth emerges in your stillness. And most importantly, you stop reacting to life's chaos and start responding with purpose. Silence isn't passive, it's focused, it's intentional. It's a sacred doorway to inner wisdom most people never discover because they are too caught in the noise. So, when you're unsure, overwhelmed, or your emotions are clouded, don't act. Be still. The answers aren't out there in what they say or do. They're inside you, waiting to be heard in the quiet of your silence. Number 3. Begging for closure is a form of self-betrayal. Let's face an uncomfortable truth that most people don't admit. Begging for closure almost always brings more pain, not peace. We all want it, that final explanation, that one honest conversation, an ending that feels complete. But here's the harsh yet freeing truth. If someone truly cared, if they truly respected you, you wouldn't have to beg for closure. They would give it to you willingly, openly, and respectfully. And if they don't, your silence becomes the closure. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." At first, this might seem unrelated to closure. But think about it. When you stop chasing closure from someone else, and instead fully live your own values, your self-respect, and your inner strength, you stop needing them to validate your pain or explain their actions. Yes, the pain is real, it's valid. But needing them to explain why they hurt you, that is handing over control of your own healing to them. That is emotional dependency. Look at the cycle many people fall into. They hurt you. You, in pain, demand answers. They respond coldly, avoid or give shallow explanations. You feel worse, trapped deeper in hurt, and the cycle repeats until you realize closure isn't something they give you. It's something you give yourself when you go silent and walk away. It's easy to convince yourself, if I just tell them how I feel, if I explain one last time, if I can just have that final talk. But here's what actually happens every time. You talk to someone who has already made peace with hurting you. You explain yourself to someone who has already chosen. You waste your energy hoping they will fix your shattered expectations. That is not closure. That is self-abandonment. The Stoics knew emotions, especially when ego is involved, cloud judgment. You want to look like the good one. You want them to understand you. You want them to finally get it. But chasing their explanation is a subtle betrayal of your own growth, your own peace. Real closure looks like this. You see clearly that what they gave you was all they could give. You accept that no amount of explanation will make them more respectful, more loving, or more honest. You stop waiting for a conversation that will never truly satisfy you. In that acceptance, in that letting go, your power and serenity return. The people who hurt you don't need to understand your worth. You do. The people who left don't need to say goodbye. You can say it to yourself. The people who ghosted you don't need a second chance. Your silence is their answer. So stop writing unsent letters. Stop rehearsing the perfect message. Stop chasing closure from people who were never open in the first place. Go silent. Let your silence be the sacred space where your self-respect breathes again. Number 4. Silence exposes what words try to hide. When you choose to go silent on purpose, something powerful happens. Masks fall off, illusions shatter, words can be beautiful, a bridge to connection, a way to share truth. But they can also be deceptive. People say what sounds right. They say what they think you want to hear. They offer long explanations, hollow apologies, clever justifications. But silence cannot lie. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "What you do speaks so loudly that I cannot hear what you say." The Stoics understood this deeply. They didn't judge a person by quick apologies. They judged them by their patterns of behavior. And the best way to see someone's true self is to stop talking, step back, and watch. Silence isn't passive. It's fully alert, fully observant. When you stop explaining yourself, when you stop giving commentary or emotional energy, you give people space and responsibility to show who they really are. And trust me, they will show it. The one who truly respects you will miss you and reach out sincerely. The one who only used you will vanish because they never valued you, only what you gave. The manipulator will get angry, confused, or desperate, not because of anything you did, but because they lost control over you. Here's what most people don't get. Words can build illusions, but silence reveals reality. You don't need to confront anyone. You don't need elaborate tests. Just step back. Withdraw your words and your energy. Observe who checks in when you stop giving, who disappears when you stop performing, who gets frustrated, even angry, when they can't provoke you or get a reaction. That, my friends, is the raw truth. It can feel harsh, but it's necessary for your freedom. Sometimes silence cuts deeper than 1,000 arguments. People can dismiss your words. They can twist your explanations, but they cannot dismiss your absence. They can argue with opinions, but they cannot argue with your quiet, firm stillness. When you stay silent, you stop feeding their illusions and manipulations. You stop pretending their empty words or broken promises mean more than their actions. This kind of silence gives you clarity. You stop needing them to explain themselves. Their actions, distance, and absence already say it all. You begin to trust patterns, not promises. You value consistent energy, not convenient words. You focus on what is real, tangible, and shown, not just spoken. That's the essence of Stoicism. It's not coldness, it's clarity. It's not distance, it's discernment. It's not emotionless, it's emotional discipline. So next time someone tries to talk their way back into your life or explain away their past behavior, don't rush to respond. Observe. Go silent, and let the truth speak for itself without a single word from you. Number 5. Not explaining yourself is the highest form of confidence. Let's be honest, when someone completely misunderstands you, when they misjudge your intentions or character, it hurts. The natural reaction is to defend yourself. You want to explain, "That's not me, you're wrong." But the Stoic doesn't chase understanding from others. The Stoic seeks understanding within himself. Why? Because explaining yourself to someone who has already made up their mind is not confidence. It is, at its core, fear of being misjudged. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "Don't waste what remains of your life in speculating about your neighbors unless with a view to some mutual benefit." Think about that. Every time you try to convince someone of your worth, your loyalty, or your intentions, you spend your precious limited time and energy on someone else's judgment. That is not power. That is insecurity disguised as effort. A person who doesn't feel the need to explain himself is not arrogant. He is deeply at peace. Why? Because his intentions are clear. His actions match his values. His worth doesn't need to be explained or justified to people who don't care to understand. This kind of detachment isn't easy. You may be called cold, labeled selfish, You might lose people who once felt close, who expected you to play a certain role. But here's the liberating truth. Losing people who never truly saw you, who only saw their projection or what they could take from you, is not a loss. It's necessary alignment. Here's the truth most people won't admit. Most people don't actually want to understand you. They want to control how they see you. If your silence breaks their illusion or ruins their story, they will get upset. Not because you hurt them, but because you stopped playing their emotional game. When you stop explaining, you lead with quiet, undeniable energy. You stop justifying your distance. You stop explaining why you walked away. You stop defending your peace or your boundaries. You simply act. And the people who belong in your life, those who match your true self, will understand your silence without needing a single word. This kind of energy is rare. It makes insecure people uncomfortable. It makes manipulators lose interest and move on. It makes users walk away because their source of energy has been cut off. But the ones who stay, they will respect you deeply, because they see that you will not lower your value or truth to fit someone else's misunderstanding or agenda. That is Stoic silence. Not loud, not desperate, not performative, just calm, rooted, unshakable. You don't owe anyone an explanation for choosing your peace. You don't need to convince anyone that your boundaries are valid. You don't need to speak your worth into a room where your silence already says it all. Number 6. Your detachment in silence is what teaches them the lesson. There's something deeply powerful about a person who chooses to walk away. Not in anger, not with dramatic words, but in quiet, calm detachment. You don't slam doors, you don't send one last emotional message, you simply leave. And in that quiet, you teach a lesson no words could ever teach. Seneca, one of the great Stoics, said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." That quote fits perfectly here, because for them, the real pain often begins after you go silent. When you stop replying, their mind starts replaying everything, your kindness, your patience, your absence. They start to feel the weight of their own actions, and that empty silence becomes louder than any argument ever could. Your silence says what words never could. I don't need to prove myself anymore. I won't stay where I'm not respected. My peace and my integrity are worth more than this chaos. Most people don't know how to handle this kind of strength. They're used to people who argue, who beg, who chase for closure. But when you go silent and walk away with calm dignity, you stop playing their game. And that's when they start to feel the loss. When you stay quiet, you hold your power. They expect you to react. They expect you to chase, to fight, to explain. But you don't, and that quiet terrifies them more than any confrontation ever could. Because now, they no longer have control over your emotions, your energy, or your attention. They thought they had the upper hand. They didn't believe you'd really walk away. That's when the lesson begins. Because people rarely learn from words. They learn from distance. You can't make someone respect you by shouting, "Respect me." They only realize what they've lost when your silence replaces your presence. And if they don't learn, that's fine too, because maybe the lesson wasn't for them. Maybe it was for you. You learned that your peace doesn't need their permission. You learned that not everyone deserves an explanation. You learned that sometimes silence isn't cold, it's healing. When you detach in silence, you remove yourself from toxic cycles. You stop trying to fix people who don't want to be fixed. You stop explaining storms to people who've only ever lived under sunshine. You stop bleeding emotionally in front of those who never cared to understand your pain. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care too deeply about your own soul to keep it in a place where it's being disrespected or drained. That's why Stoics didn't react quickly. They didn't chase. They didn't beg. They let their silence speak for them with absolute clarity. You don't have to yell, "I'm done." You can simply be done. That's real power, the kind of power that scares manipulators because it means you've taken back control. So don't fear detachment. Be still, go quiet, and let them sit with the emptiness your silence leaves behind. If you've made it this far, you can feel it. Something has shifted inside you, a quiet realization, a truth you've always known deep down. You don't need to chase or beg to prove your worth. You don't need to shout to be heard. You don't need to break your peace just to keep someone else comfortable. That is the foundation of Stoicism. It's not about being cold, it's about seeing clearly. It's not about detaching from love, it's about detaching from chaos and manipulation. The Stoics knew this. Silence isn't weakness, it's control. It's choosing not to waste your energy on what doesn't deserve it. It's the confidence of knowing your presence matters, even when you're gone. Yes, your emotions will still rise. You'll still want to explain, to fight, to prove yourself. But remember, your silence might not win the argument, but it will win you back. Every time you choose not to react, you build inner peace. Every time you walk away quietly, you strengthen your self-worth. Every time you stay calm and protect your boundaries, you build a power that can't be taken from you. So if there's one truth to remember from this entire message, it's this. Let your silence be your final word. Not out of ego, not out of anger, but out of deep, unshakable self-respect. Thank you for watching. If this message touched your heart, like the video, share it with someone who needs to reclaim their power. Comment and subscribe to this channel for more powerful Stoic growth.